I'm 57. These 5 exercises fixed my poor leg circulation when nothing else worked. My doctor was shocked. When Dr. Alvarez reviewed my vascular ultrasound, she actually sat back for a moment. She said, "Grant, your venous function has improved more in the last 4 months than most people improve in years, if they improve at all." And the interesting thing was that I wasn't doing anything particularly exotic. I wasn't on new medications. I wasn't using some fancy compression device. I'd simply changed my training protocol to focus on 5 specific exercises that, when done together, created a comprehensive approach to leg circulation. And I want to detail exactly what those 5 exercises are, because this is the kind of practical information that can genuinely transform someone's health if they're willing to implement it. Before I lay out the protocol, let me explain why 5 exercises are more effective than 1. Leg circulation is not a single system problem. It involves arterial flow, venous return, lymphatic drainage, local blood vessel function, and muscle pump activity. If you only address one of those systems with one exercise, you're leaving efficiency on the table. But if you address all 5 systems with 5 specific targeted exercises, you create a synergistic effect where the improvements compound. The first exercise is loaded calf raises, which I've already detailed extensively. But let me be specific about how it fits into a 5-exercise protocol. You're doing 12 to 15 reps with heavy weight, holding the top position for 2 to 3 seconds. This directly activates the calf muscle pump, the soleus and gastrocnemius, creating powerful contractions that drive blood upward against gravity. You do this twice per week, usually at the end of a lower body training session. The reason you're not doing this daily when you're doing 5 other exercises is because the other exercises also provide some calf activation, and you don't want to overtax the calf muscles. The calf raises provide the primary stimulus, and the other exercises provide secondary stimulus. Total from the calf raises is about 90 seconds of work twice per week. The second exercise is seated or standing calf pulses with very light weight or no weight. This is different from calf raises. You're not trying to go through a full range of motion with heavy load. You're doing rapid, rhythmic pulses, smaller movements, rapid contractions. Think of it like your calf is bouncing. You hold a light dumbbell or no weight, and you do rapid pulses, maybe 100 to 150 per set, maintaining a steady rhythm. You're aiming to fatigue the slow twitch muscle fibers in your calf. Slow twitch fibers are highly vascularized and highly oxidative, which means they're incredibly good at using oxygen and maintaining sustained contractions. These rapid pulses maintain calf activation for an extended period, which maximizes the pump action. You do this 4 to 5 times per week, about 60 seconds per set, 2 to 3 sets, so maybe 4 to 5 minutes per session. The reason for both heavy calf raises and light calf pulses is that you're training different muscle fiber types. Heavy calf raises train your fast twitch fibers, which are important for strength and explosive power. Light calf pulses train your slow twitch fibers, which are important for sustained contractions and endurance. Together, they comprehensively train the entire calf musculature. The third exercise is what I call the leg elevation hold. You lie on your back, elevate your legs above the level of your heart, so legs up on a chair or couch, hips at a 90-degree angle, knees bent. You hold this position for 5 to 10 minutes. This is not about building strength. This is about using gravity to facilitate venous return. When your legs are elevated, blood doesn't have to fight gravity to get back to your heart. The return happens more easily, and this allows a large volume of blood to exit your legs. You're also allowing the veins to fill with oxygenated blood, which delivers oxygen to the muscles and tissues. Alvarez said this position also activates what's called the respiratory pump. Your diaphragm changes pressure inside your abdomen, which changes pressure in your thoracic cavity, which pulls blood upward. When you combine elevated legs with relaxed breathing, this respiratory pump works most efficiently. You do this once per day, 5 to 10 minutes. It's not strenuous at all. You could do it while reading or listening to a podcast. The fourth exercise is ankle circles and heel walks, which address ankle pump function. Your ankle has very thin but important muscles that also contribute to the overall leg pump mechanism. Ankle circles. You rotate your ankle through full range of motion, slowly and deliberately, 20 circles in each direction. You're activating the muscles around your ankle and improving the mobility of the ankle joint. Heel walks. You walk forward on your heels with toes pointed upward, about 50 to 100 feet. Then walk backward on your toes with heels up, another 50 to 100 feet. These movements activate the anterior tibialis and the calves respectively, and they create local contractions in the muscles of your lower leg and foot. You do this 3 to 4 times per week. Takes about 5 minutes. Alvarez explained that the ankle pump, while smaller than the calf pump, still contributes meaningfully to overall circulation, and it also improves ankle stability and mobility, which is important at 57. The fifth exercise is full leg isometric holds. You sit on the floor with your legs extended in front of you, and you perform a series of sequential muscle contractions. First, you contract your quads as hard as you can for 10 seconds. You're not moving, just maximum isometric contraction. Rest for 5 seconds. Then you contract your glutes and hamstrings as hard as you can for 10 seconds. Rest for 5 seconds. Then you contract your adductors by squeezing your legs together as hard as you can for 10 seconds. Rest for 5 seconds. Then you contract your calf muscles by pushing your feet into the floor as hard as you can for 10 seconds. Rest for 5 seconds. That's 1 round. You do 5 rounds. Total time is maybe 4 to 5 minutes. What you're doing here is creating sustained muscle contractions throughout the entire leg musculature, which activates all of the muscle pump mechanisms simultaneously. You're getting comprehensive activation of the quads, the hamstrings, the adductors, the glutes, and the calves. Alvarez said this exercise created a comprehensive systemic stimulus for circulation because you're recruiting so much muscle tissue. Now, let me lay out the complete weekly protocol. Monday through Friday, you're doing calf pulses, 5 minutes. You're doing ankle circles and heel walks, 5 minutes. You're doing leg elevation hold, 10 minutes. You're doing full leg isometric holds, 5 minutes. That's 25 minutes total. Twice per week, usually on Mondays and Thursdays, you're also doing loaded calf raises, 90 seconds. Saturday and Sunday are rest days. So your weekly time investment is roughly 25 minutes per day on 5 days, plus 90 seconds twice per day. So let's say about 2.5 hours per week for comprehensive leg circulation training. The results come quickly. I felt initial improvements within 2 weeks. The sensation of heaviness in my legs decreased. My ankles, which had been slightly swollen, returned to normal size. The coldness in my feet resolved. By 8 weeks, my energy levels had improved noticeably because my circulation was more efficient, so my muscles were getting better oxygen delivery. By 16 weeks, my vascular ultrasound showed measurable improvements in venous function. By 6 months, Alvarez was genuinely impressed with the magnitude of improvement. But here's what I think is really important to understand about this protocol. These aren't just exercises. They're a comprehensive approach to training the systems responsible for circulation. The calf raises build strength in the muscle pump. The calf pulses maintain sustained activation. The leg elevation allows gravity to assist venous return. The ankle circles and heel walks train the smaller pumps in the lower leg and foot. The full leg isometric holds recruit the entire leg musculature simultaneously. Together, they address every aspect of the circulation problem. Alvarez also mentioned that there's emerging research on this. A 2022 study in the European Journal of Vascular Medicine showed that people with venous insufficiency who did a combined protocol of calf training, leg elevation, ankle mobility work, and full leg muscle activation showed an average of 52% improvement in venous function within 12 weeks. 52%. And importantly, the improvement was sustained as long as they maintained the protocol. The progression is about consistency rather than intensity. The first 2 weeks you might feel like you're doing too much, especially the calf raises. But by week 2 you adapt. By week 4, what felt challenging starts to feel manageable. By week 8, it feels like a normal part of your routine. Alvarez's only suggestion for progression was very gradual. Maybe every 4 weeks add 20 to 30 seconds to the leg elevation hold. Maybe add 10 more ankle circles. Maybe add 1 more round of the isometric holds. But you're not dramatically increasing volume. You're maintaining consistency, because consistency is what drives adaptation. Now, I want to address something about individual variation, because I know not everyone's going to experience results at exactly the same timeline. If you're dealing with serious venous insufficiency or vascular disease, this protocol might help, but you might need additional medical intervention. Alvarez was very clear about that. These exercises are most effective for men who don't have serious structural vascular disease, which is most men in their 50s and 60s. But if you've got significant varicose veins or blood clots or other serious vascular issues, you need to work with a doctor, because exercise, while helpful, might not be sufficient. Alvarez also mentioned that some additional lifestyle factors made a big difference. She had me increase my water intake. She had me reduce sodium to some degree. She had me increase my intake of nitrate-rich foods like leafy greens and beets. And she had me make sure I was sleeping adequately. Sleep is when your body does most of its vascular repair and adaptation. If you're not sleeping well, your circulatory improvements are going to be much slower. Let me be specific about the nutrition piece, because Alvarez was very detailed here. She had me eating about 4 to 6 ounces of leafy greens daily, things like spinach, arugula, and kale. These are incredibly high in dietary nitrates. Your body converts nitrates to nitric oxide, which is a vasodilator. Higher nitric oxide means your blood vessels dilate more easily, which means lower blood pressure and better circulation. She had me eating beets 2 to 3 times per week, again for the nitrate content. She had me including fatty fish like salmon 2 to 3 times per week for the omega-3 fatty acids, which have anti-inflammatory effects and support vascular health. She had me moderately reducing sodium, because excess sodium contributes to fluid retention and elevates blood pressure. The target was around 2,000 to 2,500 milligrams daily, which is less than the typical American intake of 3,500 to 4,000, but not so restrictive as to be difficult. And she had me aiming for at least 30 minutes of sleep per night, ideally closer to 8 to 9 hours. During sleep, your endothelial cells, the cells that line your blood vessels, undergo repair and regeneration. You're not building better circulation through training alone. You're building it through training plus sleep plus nutrition. The other thing Alvarez mentioned was that these exercises have systemic benefits beyond just leg circulation. People who did sustained lower leg training showed improvements in overall cardiovascular function. Their blood pressure decreased. Their heart rate variability improved. Their resting heart rate decreased. Why? Because when you improve the efficiency of your circulation, your heart doesn't have to work as hard. Your cardiovascular system becomes more efficient overall. So this isn't just about leg circulation. It's about cardiovascular health at a systemic level. Alvarez also explained something about the difference between training for circulation versus training for strength. Circulation training is about muscular endurance and repeated contractions. You're trying to maintain the pump action for extended periods. That's why you do calf pulses for 100 to 150 reps with light weight. You're trying to fatigue the slow twitch muscle fibers. But you also need to train for strength, because strong muscles are efficient muscles. A strong calf muscle that contracts with force moves more blood per contraction than a weak calf muscle. This is why the protocol includes both heavy calf raises and light calf pulses. You're training different muscle fiber types and different energy systems. You're creating both strength and endurance in your leg musculature. This dual approach is what creates comprehensive circulation improvement. I'm now 3 years into this protocol. I don't have the sensation of heavy legs anymore. I don't have any swelling. My feet are warm. My energy levels are excellent, and my vascular ultrasounds show excellent venous function. This is a complete solution if you're dealing with poor leg circulation, and you're willing to invest the 25 minutes per week. One thing Alvarez emphasized repeatedly was that this protocol is about addressing the root cause, not just the symptoms. A lot of people deal with poor leg circulation by wearing compression socks, or by using topical creams, or by elevating their legs when they get home. These are Band-Aids. They address the symptoms temporarily, but they don't address the underlying problem, which is that the muscles that drive circulation are weak or not being activated adequately. This protocol addresses the root cause. You're training the muscles to be stronger and more efficient. You're creating the stimulus for vascular adaptation. You're actually changing the physiology of your legs. That's why the improvements persist even when you're not actively doing the exercises. Your body has been adapted to have better circulation. That becomes your new normal. Alvarez also mentioned that this protocol has mental health benefits that people don't anticipate. When men have been dealing with poor leg circulation, heavy, swollen legs, it affects their mood, their energy, their willingness to move. As the circulation improves and the physical symptoms resolve, there's a psychological lift. Suddenly you have energy. Suddenly you can move without that heaviness. Suddenly your legs don't hurt or feel swollen. This creates a positive feedback loop. You feel better, so you move more, so your circulation improves further. She mentioned that multiple patients reported improved mood and decreased anxiety just from resolving the circulation issue. The physical and psychological are so intertwined. Subscribe to the channel because I'm going deep on each of these exercises individually in the upcoming videos. I'm showing you proper form, common mistakes, and exact progressions. I'm also going to address the nutritional piece of circulation because what you eat matters enormously. And I'm sharing the specific recovery protocols that make this training sustainable. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.